podcast about comics. A podcast about comics.
Welcome back to another episode of a podcast about comics. This is your boy T'Challa BP74 and my man
Kei'Tano.
We are back in the house. We're about to break down everything Multiverse of Madness, Doctor Strange 2. So if you guys are ready, strap on in. Let's ride. Don't forget, shoot us an email at APodcastAboutComics@gmail.com if you want to talk to us about anything. Kei'Tano, how are you doing this evening, my man?
I'm doing good. I am happy that we finally got a chance to do this. I know this is far later than we usually prefer. And because I'm a man of my word, I'm going on camera saying you were right about the antagonist.
How does the crow taste? How does the crow taste? How does the crow taste?
Hey, it's all right, man. I have no problem, saying that I was wrong, that I just could not see how this woman could be the antagonist of an actual movie.
She had a hex on you, man. Scarlet Witch, bro.
Hey, I love me some Scarlet Witch because
she had a hex on you.
Every time people ask, what power would you prefer to have out of like all the different powers available?
Yeah,
I usually choose hers.
Okay.
Usually,
man.
I mean,
and
it's not this.
Honestly, when the reason that made me come up with all of this, like from way back in WandaVision, and when they said that she was going to be in the second one, I'm like, Wanda has always been deemed as the bad guy. Everybody paints this picture of her.
Even when she does good, she's
doing good, she's the bad guy, right? And at some point, she's going to crack. At some point.
Hey, at the end of the day, the Sokovia Accords was based on her mistake.
Yep.
And even then, she had to get back in there and fight, right? She had to get back in.
And listen, man. A lot of people died, but more people would have died if that bomb went off right there where they were. Because remember, there were a lot of people there on the ground.
Again, if you look at, I don't know if this is a real life thing or if this is just like a movie thing, but whenever there are casualties, the hero usually takes the heat for the casualties, not the people that didn't die.
And here's the thing.
Get credit for that.
And here's the thing. The whole Civil War thing, my man, was because Cap was trying to explain that to them. And they couldn't see that, right? You got people who are running the government, right? Or the Sokovia Accords, right?
Yeah.
Who all have an agenda.
Right.
And only the ones
go ahead.
Only the ones who are in power, right, can pull the cords or the strings on their agenda. If they don't want the Avengers to go in and save some people who need saving, they could just say, you can't go in.
Well, this is also a little bit more complex too. It's more complex than the movies portray it, because if you have multiple governments in all these different countries, none of these countries can afford to have superpowered human beings operating in their country under free reign.
Hey, but they all do though. Now listen, before we go down this rabbit hole, because this is about Multiverse of Madness. So before we go down let's dive into Multiverse of Madness. Yes. So going in, was it all that you expected going in?
I'm thinking.
Okay.
No.
Do you want me to okay.
No, I'm saying no, it wasn't.
Okay, so it wasn't. Okay. Going in, the first time I watched it, I was hyped the first time around, right? Because it was a lot for me to process, right?
Yeah.
Second time around, I'm like, okay, now there's things that bother me a little bit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I remember talking to my man, shout out to Dr. Law, shout out to my man Harlock19. Check him out on the gram. I remember talking to them and saying, do we have such a problem with it because we're that big of fans, right? And we would be what's considered true fans because we've been in this genre for over 4 decades. We've loved this genre, read this genre, these characters, and so on, right?
Yeah.
And he said no. And I have to agree with him that there's a lot of, and I don't know if it's because they had to cut certain parts of the movie, but a huge part of the movie feel like it's rushed, right?
Well, yes, it definitely feels rushed. And I kind of felt that when I went in, you know, as far as like, if there were any negative emotions that I had going into it, I think that when I was watching it, I did feel that it was rushed. I also, though, I was very fatigued when I got there in the first place. So I probably wasn't as fresh as I normally am when I go to see these Marvel films.
Or that much alert to pay, you know, fine comb attention.
Well, I'm not even looking for fine comb attention when I'm out there anyway, because you and I, when we go to theater, we're definitely looking for 2 totally different experiences. I want to be entertained. You're looking to see how close this is or isn't to the comics.
Well, see, that's incorrect. That's incorrect.
Okay.
Most of the time, the first time I look at something, right, I look at it with my fan of the genre eyes. The second time that I go back in and I look at it, then I look at it with the eyes that I normally go in and.
So then why do you give me crap about it if you do the same thing on the first showing?
Well, some stuff that's like horrible, right? If it's horrible out the gate, I'm like, this is just horrible. Harley
I'm
Quinn.
leaving this little multiverse. I was like, we got to go with the multiverse because I'm about to make this about me, right? Okay. And this is not about me. This is about the multiverse, right?
Thank you. And for a minute there, because we deal with the multiverse, I was wondering if I was talking to a variant for a minute. You see what I'm saying? Because you know, you was on some foolishness. Right?
Hey, you be on my case all the time. Like, hey,
and it's
sure
absolutely fine.
Look for this because this is gonna be, you know, make sure you watch for this because I know you don't be paying attention. And I say the same thing, yo. You
just realize, right, after you and Vet was talking, that you guys just don't pay attention.
Hey, there's not paying attention that is, see, the level of not paying attention that you talk about comes from an entirely different point of or perspective. Because,
I disagree.
Again,
I disagree.
You can disagree all you want, but the truth is, you are a comic book fan. You've been a fan since you were 6 years old. You know more things than the average person does. And then for the below average person, which, by the way, I still consider myself in that category, like, we can have a conversation and you can like get annoyed that I don't know something. I'm like, how am I supposed to know these things?
Let's be brutally honest here. You are not in the below average. So don't act like you are. I've told you this.
The only reason why it would be considered above average from your perspective is because you're the one who's been educating me outside of whatever I have. But you know what? Amazon subscription.
You have been somewhat educated. So you cannot use the below. You cannot use the below because you're above average.
Okay, fine. Put me in the average category if you want. But my point is that when we go to watch those movies, when us movie fans go to watch the movie, I am looking for, am I engaged? How are the special effects? How's the storyline? You know, how is the acting? Like, I'm looking at these things like as a whole, right? All these things are pieces or ingredients in the dish that is being served, right? But you, sir, when you look at it, and now according to you, this is on the second go round, not the first go round. On the second go round, you're looking for like all these different things. But
yes,
you hold us, and when I say us, I mean myself and your cousin, right?
a long list of people, right? If I see things on the first go round, because normally when I bust your chops, is because you don't see it on the first go round. It's not because I find comb to it. It's not.
Well, again, as far as that goes, I feel like we are held to a different standard. Those of us who are in your personal circle, we're held to a different standard when we're not allowed to just go sit and watch the movie and enjoy the movie. It's got to be, hey, make sure you're watching, make sure you're paying attention. You know, and I gotta say, no, I'm not going to pay
Incorrect.
attention.
I don't think I'm like that. I can be
like that.
I can be, but I'm not that bad. I'm not that bad. I'm
all right.
I'm not that bad.
You know what? For those of you who know T'Challa BP74 on a personal level, I would appreciate it if you would chime in on Instagram on this debate. You know, Marvel Ho, you're in it too, right? Because you commented on some of our stuff as well. So go ahead, comment on it in Instagram, and let me know if this person who I'm talking with can be that way on the first go round of the movie. Not the second, because remember, he said he's like the second.
You guys have heard it here. Marvel Ho, he's tagging you, my dear, my Wakanda sister. He's tagging you. So
just let you know that I'm not being biased, because Marvel Ho is usually on your side when it comes to stuff. So
because I always speak facts. And if it's not something that I'm predicting, and I honestly, most of my predictions, I predict them that way because they would make the most sense. And what is it that I always say?
It only makes sense.
It only makes sense.
It only makes sense, yeah. And then there are times where it only makes sense and it never happens, you know, but it's okay.
Hey,
it's all right.
Listen, how many things did we see in this? So we dive into Multiverse of Madness. Let's get going. So we dive into.
So let's go back to you asked me about did I get what I was expecting, and I said no.
And you said no, right? Yeah.
There was some things that I wasn't expecting that was wonderful, and then they took it away right then and there.
Okay.
And that's the Illuminati. You know, I've been wanting to see Reed Richards since WandaVision. I've been wanting to see X-Men. I don't even know how long I've been wanting to see just a sliver of X-Men.
And we didn't get that.
They gave you both and took them away.
We didn't get no mutants. Listen, man, we got mutants and Inhumans, right? Yes. All in the same scene, and we got nothing. Right?
Now, from a human standpoint, I actually haven't had this huge desire to see Inhumans because, well, they've had their show. That was that was bad. And then they've also been on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. They've had Inhumans on that as well.
The same guy from the show, they brought in a variant of his. Now, can I defend Multiverse of Madness for a minute? Because I can defend, right? At time I can defend, and there's time I can attack.
Right, yes? You can say what you want to say after I say this one thing.
Okay.
And then I'll let you go.
Okay.
One of the most disappointing things for me was the fact that they rolled in Xavier, played the theme song from the cartoon.
X-Men 97. X-Men 97.
With him. Yeah.
Now, this was a point that I made when I was talking to Dr. Law and Harlock 19. I said to them, I said, listen, I said, if Marvel did the things they did for a specific reason, right? And I was like, why would they do that? So go with me for a second. Maybe we got to see the Illuminati of Earth 838 and not Earth 616.
Hey, now you do know that there are going to be a significant amount of people who don't know nothing about 818, 616.
If you watch the movie,
on the line with you now.
If they watch the movie, she clearly broke down the different multiverses, and she says, this is Earth 838. You are from Earth 616.
Right.
Comic book lovers knew exactly where she was going with that, right? But they are on Earth 838. They're dealing with the Illuminati, right? On that planet or that Earth, right? The color red means go. The color green means stop. So that's opposite, right?
Right.
If they show that that's where Wanda shadow walked into the Wanda from that Earth, Wanda energy is red. So when the Illuminati attacks her, seeing red, right? Psychologically, they are like, red means go, right? Not realizing that Red is going to shred him to hashtag Reed Richards. Sorry about you. And this is what happened, right? If they did that for that reason, that was kind of smart. If they brought in, and because here's you can take, listen, you can take that and make it seem that when Strange gets back to our Earth 616, he creates an Illuminati based on the Illuminati that was there.
Yeah, I can see that. I don't. The color thing seems a bit of a stretch.
That can save what we just saw, and it can work, right? Because you bring in an Illuminati from another universe or another Earth, right? To show that hey, Illuminati here is operating.
How do you feel if that was the only time you ever see the Illuminati in the MCU and they don't?
Oh man, I would be broken up. I would have a problem with them taking them out as quickly as they did, but Wanda is powerful enough to take them out as quickly as they did. Somebody said to me, I have a problem with it because you talking about the most powerful of every team. That is very much incorrect.
Well, it's not only is it incorrect.
The people from the Illuminati that makes up the Illuminati, they are the head of every group. They're not the most powerful. They are the head. So Reed Richards being the head of the Fantastic Four.
Not only that, the issue is that there's probably only 2, if you include Doctor Strange, that can handle Wanda, and that would be Xavier and Doctor Strange. Now there is no Doctor Strange because they killed theirs.
Listen, man, incorrect.
Who else on that board can handle Wanda?
Strange cannot handle Wanda, and neither can Xavier. Listen, what I loved about this movie was how she took out the Illuminati. I was a little bit perturbed by how quickly they came and went. But I like that they show what, bro, you talking about a reality altering individual. And again, remember what I said to you back in Civil War. I said, we haven't seen her cut up yet, right? We see her in Infinity War and we saw her in Endgame. And as much as she did in Endgame, I said to you, what? You still hadn't seen her cut up. We saw her in WandaVision. Hold on. We saw her in WandaVision. And I said, we still hadn't seen her cut up. And I said, we're going to see her cut up in Multiverse of Madness. And one of the first things when it was revealed to Strange that she was working her angle when she said, she called America Chavez's name and she's like, oh, I guess I got caught, right? She said to him when he's like, why are you coming? Why are you doing this? Blah, 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 blah. Or why were you sending creatures, whatever? And she said, yo, I was being reasonable. She says this, right?
The challenge is, if Wanda can take out the Illuminati that easily, my problem is now with the writing, because they all treated Wanda as if she was not a threat. Now, I don't know if that's because of the experience that they have with their Wanda, but somebody on that, somebody
the reason why they all know about Wanda.
Hold on. Someone should have known what she was capable of. And if a Wanda's coming from another universe that has those same powers, but magnified because she's been with the Darkhold all that time, the fact that they wrote it off as a non-issue is a problem with me with the writing. Go.
Okay. The Wanda from their Earth, 838, the one that she shadow walked into, that Wanda had her kids. That Wanda was not in possession of the Darkhold. I'm going to call off all these things, right? That Wanda had no reason to be angry and pissed off with everyone because she's the only Wanda who does not have a kid. There was a lot of factors going into our Wanda.
They should have, if they are able to go get a Strange from a different universe, then they should have known somebody, Xavier, Reed, who is like got the biggest brain up there. You mean tell me that nobody said, hey, if this person is pissed off from another universe and comes into ours, what are we going to do about it? Oh, that's a non-issue.
Let me show you a vibe. You know, Mortal didn't get taken out by her, right? But Xavier, out of all of them, Xavier was the last one to get taken out. Xavier was also the one who didn't charge in trying to attack her. He tried, even in his mind, he tried to help her. And in the moment of him trying to help, right? Wanda, our Wanda, was like, to hell with that. I want my kids.
Right.
But so again, she climbed in there, snapped his neck like he wasn't nothing.
But you're not providing anything that refutes what I'm saying.
You're saying that this should have had a contingency plan for Wanda.
They should have had a contingency plan for any Wanda from any dimension that is exercising her full power, or at least a large amount of her power against humanity.
Here's the thing though, Earth 838, and if they're doing it like that, it's genius, right? Earth 838 didn't have to worry about the Darkhold and Wanda because Strange was the one who came in possession of the Darkhold. They destroyed
So when they
Strange.
eliminated Strange, eliminated their Strange, they took the other one from the other universe and brought him there. Of which, in that same exact universe, is a Wanda. Well, actually, no, they got the Scarlet Witch over there.
Bro, you got that all wrong. And maybe this was in between your snooze fest. Because the Wanda who Doctor Strange Shadow walks into, he's the Wanda, he's Defender Strange that started off with America Chavez in the beginning, right? The one that she walks into is Wanda from Earth 838. The Illuminati, right? They still have.
I know that it's their.
Listen to what I'm saying. They still didn't have a true concept of the multiverse and how the whole thing operates. Wanda is a nexus being. So for Wanda, it's no problem. They just what do you call it? I guess you could say they just didn't think or got too cocky that somebody can do this from another multiverse. They clearly feel like
Where was I incorrect?
I don't know.
Because you accused me that maybe I didn't see in my snooze fest. So I'm like, where was I?
No, because you were saying something about their Strange. They went and got another Strange from another multiverse. They didn't.
Well, the Doctor Strange that was on trial was not from that universe, correct?
But they didn't go get him from another multiverse.
Mordo brought him into jail. Mordo brought him in handcuffs, did he not?
Yes, but he stumbled into their multiverse. They didn't go get him from another multiverse.
I get that. So you're saying that they didn't go get him, so they just know that a Strange showed up, so therefore let's act.
And he caused an incursion, and now Wanda's coming to their Earth.
I get you.
They didn't go and get him. Something got dropped on their door. Enough. And they only went through all them multiverses because America Chavez activated her power in the midst of her fear and fright.
Again, if the Sorcerer Supreme is telling you that you really need to be concerned about this chick that's coming right behind me.
Okay.
Writing it off as a non-issue. It just does not feel right to me, given who is on the Illuminati.
Okay. So let's talk about a few things, right? The first thing I want to talk about is America Chavez. Did you like the character? I know you didn't know anything too much about her. How do you think that?
I did not like it.
How do you think Xochitl Gomez portrayed the character?
I don't really think they gave her a lot to work with in the first place. Like I don't really see where she could have like really shined as an actor, because it doesn't seem like the role itself was really like that big of a role.
I thought, the story. First of all, hats off to Xochitl Gomez. This was her first acting job.
Okay.
Right?
I get it. I get where you're coming from.
They throw her into that role and she sticks the landing. Right?
I mean, maybe I gotta watch it again. You've seen it more than once. I may have to see it again to
again. Do not misconstrue me saying she's a Gwyneth Paltrow type actress or she is a Lupita Nyong'o actress.
Oh, it sounds like you're saying that she just did a good job playing the role.
She just did a good job based on the character. She made me believe.
I don't know.
She made me believe she was America Chavez. She made me believe she was.
The only thing that obviously I don't know the character. I've heard the name. I don't know the character. I just know that I got tired of seeing stars every time she did something. Punch the glass. He's a star.
Hey, that's her power. She kicks or punches a star portal through different dimensions. Same thing in the comics.
These were not portals. When she punched the glass, it wasn't a portal. She just punched the glass and turned into a star. You know what I'm talking about when they had her in captivity?
Yes. Yes.
Now, if you're telling me that's comic book accurate, if you tell me this, that when America punches anything, that, you know, if it's fragile, it's going to change the shape into a star.
No. Not when she punches just randomly anything. Eventually, she learns her power and she punches and kicks star portal, right? To a point, to the point.
I don't have a problem with the portal looking like a star, but it just seemed like a bit much. And maybe because I don't know enough about the character, but it just seemed like a bit much.
You don't. I love everything. I love everything that we got to see about America Chavez, from her star portals to the Utopia parallel, right? Where she's from. Her two moms, her rocking the rainbow pendant, you know, for the LBGT, all of that. I love all of that we got to see. I felt we got a lot of content. I love that we got to hear about Kei'Tano being the author of the Darkhold, right? And the Darkhold that Wanda, the book, right? Every multiverse or every Earth has one, right? But Kei'Tano actually inscribed Wendigo Mountain. He inscribed where Wanda was, right? Where the tomb is. And that's actually the rebirth place of Kei'Tano, right? I love that Wong talked about all of that as quickly as he did, right? Because for a while I kept saying, I keep talking about Kei'Tano. Wanda was cursed with chaos magic. I would have loved them addressing that. That's where she was born. They had such an alley-oop, right? And they don't dunk it. Dunk it. You gave me a lot of content in 2 hours, but you could have given me 30 to 45 more minutes and given me way more of a compelling story. The moment the movie starts off in what is it called? Almost like the Gap Junction with them running on the road, the brick road, right? We got to see them fighting for survival. We got our first glimpse of the Book of Ashanti. Bro, we got the Book of Ashanti in an opening scene. It ends with the post-credit being of Clea showing up. And you remember me saying not too long ago, oh, we're going to get a Clea. This is before the movie drop. I'm like, bro, you think we're going to get to see a Clea? And you was like, I really don't know too much about her. Bro, post-credit scene, they gave me Clea.
Yeah.
So you give me, in the same movie, all these predictions I'm predicting, Wanda being the antagonist, we're going to see Kei'Tano. I talked about those creatures. There could have been, if it wasn't Kei'Tano, it could have been the Ngari, which is almost like his Black Order, right? Because, again, Wanda realized when they were going to come at her, she realized that it was a throne.
They were there for her.
They were there for her as her guards, right?
Yeah.
And the Ngari does that for Kei'Tano. Remember, Wanda is also, and again, another alley-oop they didn't dunk. Wanda is also a vessel for Kei'Tano to make his reappearance. So it would be great if it ends with her being like she's dead, right? But some many years later, she's reborn right there where Wondercom Mountain crumbled upon her, right? And she was just in a cocoon, and Kei'Tano comes back in her body and reaps havoc on the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And now they have to call in the Midnight Suns to deal with the Scarlet Witch.
So you think that there's going to be a continuation of her being the antagonist?
Yes, but no time now. It makes it seem
in our
like she's dead.
In our lifetime?
I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe 10 years down the road. Marvel plays the long game.
Yeah, I don't see it.
Let me show you. Let me show you something that I saw the second time I watched it. Right when Wendigo Mountain falls on her, there's this flash of red light, and then it goes dim, 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 and then it goes out, right? But it's almost like a cocoon forming around Wanda, encasing Wanda.
Hey, I don't know how much further they're going to go with the Wanda story. And, from a contractual standpoint, I mean, she's been in a couple movies. So, I mean, who's the eldest active member right now? Thor?
I don't know. No.
I think Thor is the oldest active member right now.
No.
And then after that, you have
incorrect. Nick Fury is.
I mean, I guess he was. I mean, I'm sure they'll probably bring Nick back for something.
Right. Also, what's his name with Bruce Banner? Mark Ruffalo is older than Chris Hemsworth.
Right. Well, because that movie came out before Thor.
What movie? He got.
Did the Hulk come out before Thor?
Yeah, but bruh, he has he got She-Hulk coming up where he's appearing in, and he has rumor. Yeah. I'm not sure if it's
well, I'm just talking about the screen. I'm not talking about the little screen. I'm talking about the big screen.
Okay.
I mean, the last
remember
Hulk, obviously.
Ragnarok, both of them was in that. Both of them was also in Infinity War and Endgame.
Right. So you got Hulk, you got Thor, you got Wanda. Are we going to see Hawkeye on the big screen again?
I don't know if we're going to see him on the big screen. We got Sam still on the big screen. We got Sam still on the big screen. Sam
will be on the
Captain
big
America. Yeah.
Well, I mean, how many movies you think that these particular actors that we just named, like how many more movies they're going to cast them in?
I don't know. A while back,
I'm just saying that
Marvel used to do 3 to 5 year contracts and then do extensions, right? And a lot of these guys, their contracts can be, Marvel is going to need you for something in a few years, and because you have a contractual obligation, right, you have to show up to take care of that. So we don't know. Steve Rogers, aka Chris Evans, could come back in a Secret Wars. If you look at what we just saw with Multiverse of Madness, it lines up with Secret Wars.
Well, Secret Wars is going to be a show.
No, it's not.
Isn't it?
I'm sorry, not Secret Wars. What is it? Yes, Secret Wars. Yeah, no, Secret Wars isn't a show. You're talking about what is it called? Secret
Wars with the Skrulls, right?
That I don't think that's Secret Wars. Secret Invasion is with the Skrulls.
Okay, that's going to be a show, is it not?
Yes, it's supposed to be a show, but that's something totally different. There's still Secret Wars, right?
Right.
Where
they go off to go fight and they get their memories
and there's multiple versions of heroes showing up in this battle world to fight.
Yeah.
Right. But by this time, Dr. Doom should be in a place, right? We get a Victor Von Doom, he become God Doom, right?
So in my mind, this is how my mind works. Like I hear all the stuff you're saying about like what they may be doing in the future, but realistically looking at the actors who play these characters, assuming that they don't get recasted, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's this cycle that the characters go through. And like you bring Captain America in, now Captain America is out. You brought Iron Man as your first film. Now
but
Iron Man is
these
out.
guys spearhead the first 10 years, man.
I get that. Well, that's why I'm saying that there's a lot of people from that crew that I don't know how much longer they're going to be with the new crew.
They're probably not going to be around too much longer because they still have fresh characters.
This is the reason why I don't think they're going to go too much further with Wanda's story.
But they might not. But I'm saying years down the road, 10 years down the road, maybe 15, we could get her again. And she looks older and she's more menacing, right? You just bring her back in.
It's possible.
They played a long game. So their contracts is a long game as well, if they played a long game.
I'm going to say this. I see Wanda showing up in about 2 more movies and then that's it.
Probably one more.
Or one.
Or they might not even give us Wanda again. Again, all of this is speculation at this point, right?
Yeah. I just feel like these characters go through a cycle, and as they're cycling new characters in, others have to be, kind of cycled out.
Okay.
So
real quick, I'm gonna give you my likes and my dislikes. I'm gonna sum it up real fast. I
mm,
like the fact that we got the overload of information, right? I love the fact we got the mention of Shaitan. I love the fact that we got to see the dark hole and the residual damage that it leaves behind, right? I'm glad that we got to see Defender Strange and multiple variants from multiple multiverses showing up, right? I'm glad that we got to go through different multiverses. Visually stunning movie, right? What else I loved about it? Love the entrance of the new characters, etc., etc. These are my dislikes and my gripes. Allow me to grind my gears. I hated the fact that we got the Illuminati only for them to be taken out within sheer minutes, right?
I agree.
Also, in that scene of the Illuminati, you left us baffled with who is the seventh member.
Yes.
Something I don't know if you paid attention to, right?
T'Challa is supposed to be up there, right? Or Namor.
Not T'Challa or Namor, right? Maybe they didn't use Namor because we're going to see Namor in Wakanda forever, right?
Are we definitely seeing Namor in Wakanda forever? Is that definitely happening?
Listen, Marvel have not confirmed, but the way that how they're talking in the leaks, they definitely going the route of that. I've heard some statements in the last few days.
Wakanda versus Atlantis is basically what you're
thinking. Here's what's been bothering me for the last few days, and I'm glad we're talking about it now, right? This is not a Wakanda podcast, but they're gonna have this battle between Namor and his people, right? And Wakanda, right? The sad part is it's not Atlantis that we're gonna be dealing with. Something just came out saying that Namor is going to be from some sunken Mexican city.
Say what?
Yes. And the reason that, listen, man, I heard it for the last few days, and I was like, please don't be true. Please don't be true. Please don't be true.
That a sunken Mexican city?
Yes. And apparently this have ties to Eternals. Listen, man, it has been bothering me profusely. I am not happy about it.
I can see why that would bother you. I can see that.
And if they do this, I am going to crap all over it. I'm not going to be one of those idiotic individuals who just because it's Wakanda Forever, the sequel, and I'm a new fan, I'm going to like it, right? If it's crap, I'm going to call it crap. Any true Marvel fan or any true fan of the Submariner, right? The Submariner knows that he comes from Atlantis. He was created before Aquaman was created. He was running when there was few comics, right? With him and Captain America and the Human
I've seen
Torch,
old Submariner
Bucky
comics
and
around my grandmother's house.
You see what I'm saying? So if these comics been around this long, don't rob us that. Give us Marvel's Atlantis and don't change it because you're afraid of what DC fans might say.
Hey,
all I'm saying. So if they're going
DC
that route,
fans,
I am very perturbed. But it is what it is. And that bothered me because the 7th seat was open and they didn't mention the 7th member or saying, because remember, Mordo took over for the Doctor Strange. So the Doctor Strange that they had to eliminate, Mordo took his chair.
Right.
And it bothered me that they left that out or they left that chair empty. I read something where the director was saying that they were told to do that specifically for a reason, but he couldn't say because it was above his pay grade.
Hey, so I have a gripe that I inherited.
Okay.
I agree with you about the likes, the dislikes, but there was one. I was at the airport last week in Colorado, or heading to Colorado, and me and a stranger, she and I just started chatting it up about Marvel and stuff. She was kind of geeky, and I can be geeky at times. And so she's like, "Well, did you watch the movie?" I'm like, "Yes, I did." She's like, "So what did you think?" And I was like, "I think there's some things I liked, some things I didn't like." And then she drops this bomb. She said, I don't like that I have to watch different shows to follow what's going on in the screen. She's like, I liked it when the movies were like, you could watch them by themselves and enjoy it by itself without seeing the other films.
Okay. Can I rebuttal to that?
Not until I'm finished.
Okay, go ahead.
So she's like, having to watch, like, it's almost like she likes the fact that that it's expanded. She doesn't like the dependency, because she's like, now I got to have a Disney Plus subscription so that I can be prepared for whatever I'm going to see in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like what I see on the screen.
Listen, man, genius marketing.
Right? Well, I also noticed that there are things I had to say to my wife during the movie theater because I saw it on a show and she hadn't seen it.
Then so there was to watch context. The show.
That's the point that the woman is making. Why do I have to watch a show on Disney Plus so that I can follow along what I'm seeing in the theater? And
here's my rebuttal, right? Now that they're introducing lesser characters with smaller story arcs and stuff, you don't want to waste the big screen money on that. So what do? You still introduce them, but you tell these smaller shows. The thing is that some of these smaller shows, they connect to the bigger movies. And you don't want to spend the money to tell a weaker story, right? Or story that needs to be stretched out. So you put them up on the streaming platform. That's genius. Because again, you have stories. You have stories that are not big enough or not impactful enough for you to give me on the big screen. So what
happens? What happens when the person that's watching these smaller stories, they don't even like the smaller stories?
Hey, then don't watch. Then you just be clueless. Then don't watch. You just be clueless.
That's the point.
How much? One of the things that listen, this is one of the things that aggravated me about phase 1, 2, and 3. Right? There was a lot happening, and we missed certain things. So we had to go back and listen and pay extra attention to see the connection.
Yeah, I get you. Hey, look,
and people like myself had to watch certain things like 4 and 5 times. Oh, hey, yo, look at that. Oh, hey. And then realize, like when they called Stephen Strange name, he wasn't even Sorcerer Supreme yet, but he was one of the head pioneer neuro guys or whatever. But the the algorithm, right, that Zola created knew that he had the potential to become either the Sorcerer Supreme or somebody who stands up against Hydra.
So let me ask you this. Are you saying, and I just want to make sure I'm understanding, are you saying that you don't actually see what the gripe is about having to subscribe to a streaming service to follow along with the Marvel Cinematic Universe in order to follow along what's going on in the big screen? Like, you don't see an issue with that?
Actually, no.
And you don't understand.
And here's why I don't have a problem with that. I don't see an issue there because I don't give it that much of an energy of the issue with it.
Well, I will say that first of all, I ain't going nowhere. I'm a Disney Plus subscriber. I go to watch these movies. I don't watch them all in the movie because I definitely didn't go watch Morbius in the movie theater, which I'm glad I did.
Morbius is not a Disney movie.
It's not a what?
It's not a Disney movie. It's a Sony movie.
It is a Sony movie. You could tell. But apparently it's still a part of the MCU, though, right? Or no? Is it not a part of the MCU or not?
I don't know. I don't know how I want to answer that because I have a lot of crappy feelings about Morbius. I don't even want to talk about Morbius.
All right. Well, maybe that's for another podcast or something.
Bottom line is, someone like myself. Here's the thing: everything connects. Here's why: because the multiverse now exists. Right?
I don't. Again, I'm not.
And the end of Morbius, we see Adrian Toomes, right? So Adrian Toomes is there, and Adrian Toomes is in Earth 616. So all of this stuff connects. So there's a Morbius in Earth 616 as well.
All right. So you're acknowledging that there's this connection, which no one's denying that. We're saying that that's the problem.
Hey, if people have a problem with it,
is the problem. And the reason why,
if people have a problem with this, with the streaming platform or the subscribing, then don't watch. Go to the movies and just either you figure it out, you connect it, or you just watch it and move on.
What you're probably going to get is that people will be like, you know what, I'm no longer invested in Marvel because it's too much to be invested in. I actually get the argument, and I get it because how many shows has there been on the streaming service so far? How many shows have there been?
This last one, Moon Knight, was I think the sixth show.
All right.
6.
So out of the six shows, let's say that each show episode was around, let's just say 40 minutes, right? So you got, so that's 240 minutes per show. And some of these 240 minutes, like, people are not like really big fans of. Like, I can show you people that are, well, hell, you didn't like all of them. You didn't like Moon Knight, right?
Incorrect.
You were one of the people who were looking.
Incorrect.
You liked Moon Knight?
Incorrect.
You liked Moon Knight.
Okay. I had a lot of issues with Moon Knight.
Okay. Fine. You had issues with Moon Knight.
Yes.
Is there a show you did not like?
What we got was Moon Knight.
Is there a show you did not like at all?
The one I have
the least, like them all?
The one I have the most problems with is Moon Knight.
All right.
And my problem stems a lot deeper than the average person, though.
You had issues with Moon Knight. I personally could have not seen a single Hawkeye episode and been fine. I know you liked Hawkeye, whatever. My point is that
hey, you sound a little salty when you said it. You said whatever.
It requires a time investment and a financial investment to follow along what's going on with this universe. At a time where you could just watch one movie and just enjoy the movie for the movie, but now you have to like kind of follow along in the thread of things, otherwise you could get lost in the sauce. And I think that I understand where you're coming from, where you're like, oh well, that's genius because you are telling these stories that are and you're seeing like the smaller stories and the connections and like all that. I get that, and I like that stuff too, but I can't see where someone's like, all right, before I could just go watch a movie, now I got to subscribe to the service, and now I got to watch these little smaller shows. And technically, these shows are not smaller because it's 240 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So these are movies that are broken down into 6 smaller segments.
Yeah.
That are consumed over the course of 6 weeks.
You know what?
That's a time investment.
Let me break this down to you though. I've waited my whole life for what we've been getting.
Don't poo-poo on my life.
I've been waiting my whole life. I've been waiting my whole life. Hey, I started reading this 4 decades ago, right? So I'm really enjoying, even if we get some crappy storytelling, I'm enjoying just see characters that I've read for years and years and years and love characters.
I mean, how long have we really waited for?
I'm going to tell you. Let me tell you one more thing that bothered me. Right, is we never even got to see the relationship between Sarah and Wong. Out the gate, as soon as Wanda attacked come.Thanks, Sarah is gone. Boom.
I don't even know who Sarah is.
Sarah is the black chick who stabs the Darkhold.
Okay, gotcha. I know who you're talking about. Yeah. Okay.
In the comics, she's Wong's girlfriend.
Okay.
They get a love.
Wong don't come across as liking anybody in any of these movies.
Hey, but you know what? His girlfriend was there. Give us some shine, man. It's all I'm saying. We saw her sacrifice herself for Wong, right? To save Wong, right? But let me ask you a question. Do we know why she sacrificed herself for Wong? You see what I'm saying?
If you're on the outside looking in, you're looking at her just making the sacrifice to save the world. You're not thinking, at least I'm not thinking that, she's trying to save Wong.
There's layers there You take her out really quick, and she's out from our Earth. You take her out really quick, and Wong and Sarah from our universe or multiverse doesn't get a love story. So I felt and then we get Rinse Rock for what? He's the ox looking dude magician, right? We get him, and again, these is characters that's in the Marvel comics, and you bring them in, right? They could be secondary and third tier, right? Mm-hmm. But you bring them in, and boom, they're gone. Or we don't see them, and we're like, wait a minute.
Yeah, because if you hadn't said, "Oh, that was Wong's love interest," then I wouldn't know. But hell, I mean, even in you look at whatchamacallit, the only reason why I knew, I think, was either from you or from the comics, that Proxima Midnight and Glaive,
Corvus Glaive, yeah,
Corvus Glaive were married, right? And they don't show anything in Infinity War or Endgame that lets you know that these two have a deeper relationship.
But they show up. But they show up together to take out a love interest. The couple.
You see that because you have the foundation and background in the stories from the comics, right?
Yes.
It's that aspect was not important enough to the people who were telling the story to tell you that aspect, that, oh, these two characters are involved, right? Yeah. One could offer up to say, like, hey, where's your friend? It's like, you'll pay for his life.
They did that in Black Panther as well with Okoye and W'Kabi, because she says, hello, my love. She says, hello, my king. She says, my king, and then she says, my love. Right. And then at the end, when she pulls the spear on him, he's like, would you kill me, my love? And she was like, for Wakanda, without question, right?
Yeah.
You know that there's a love between the two of them, but it's not until the deleted scene where she's like, this is how we're supposed to raise our kids. This is when you find out they married.
I see. When she said my love, I always thought they were married from that point on. My king, my love. I just knew that. I figured she was married because
I felt, because she's like, this is what I'm supposed to leave the door for, to bring our children up in a world where we just want to conquer everyone else and treat everyone else like crap, right? And yeah, that's when, because a lot of people watch all the other thing and thought, okay, they got a love thing going on, but you never saw them make out or anything.
I mean, maybe it's cultural, but like, it doesn't strike me that someone in the type of leadership of an African country is going to say my love to their boyfriend. That just don't make no sense to me.
Yeah, but everybody ain't analyzing it with your brain.
Hey, but like I said, that's why I said.
But here's the thing: you supposed to be looking at this the way how the average person is. I'm the one who's like the extremist and the nerd and whatever else you want to call me, right?
Yeah, but I mean,
I'm just telling you,
be
like,
a nerd to think that someone in royalty is going to be married to the person they say my love to.
Also, keep in mind, this is 2022, my man, and a lot of young folks, young adults, their brain ain't advanced enough for them to put two and two together.
That's fair. It looked pretty obvious.
We in a society today when people would rather just let their phone do all the work instead of exercise their brain.
Hey, I tell my kids all the time, use your brain. Don't necessarily work, but I tell them, use it. So
this is why now comics are digital. They're at your fingertips, right?
Yeah.
But there's a part of me that even though comics are at my you are a digital guy. So you go and you get your comics digitally.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Me, I want my comics to touch my fingers.
Yeah, right? I mean, and people are like that with books too. I'm just like, I don't see the point. Like, if I can have it all on my device, I can take my whole library wherever I go, as opposed to choosing what I'm going to bring with me.
Man, tomatoes, tomatoes, potatoes, potatoes.
Yeah.
It's just what you like.
Yeah. Quick access.
Right,
that's what I
right.
like.
But a lot of people don't want to have to work out the math problem. They'd rather put it in a calculator and let the calculator do the work.
Yeah, that's also true. That is also true.
So you got to, in this day and age, you got to take the good with the bad. So a subscription wouldn't bother me. It is what it is.
And it doesn't bother me, but I do understand the point, especially because for me, I am a very big into like my resources. My resources are my time, my money.
And you didn't wait your whole life for this.
Well, I may not have been waiting my whole life for like Marvel, but I will say that I've been waiting for my whole life to get good superhero content.
Yes, agreed.
And they make them look like human beings that have, a higher calling.
And I honestly believe that we were getting a lot of that in some of these shows.
I tell you what, if I put the Disney Plus shows up against the Netflix shows,
they'll get trounced every day.
Right?
But the mouse have a standard, and we have to respect the mouse standard.
True. And this is why I don't like. I could not stand that they didn't renew the deal with Netflix.
I'll be honest with you. I'll be real honest. Well, I mean, they were branching out doing their own thing, so I didn't expect them to. Let me be real honest with you though, right?
What's that?
The most violent thing that we've gotten so far, right, on the Disney Plus was Moon Knight. They dialed up the violence, right?
Yeah.
Now, granted, the Netflix shows are now over on Disney Plus, right?
But they're still Netflix shows, right?
But they're still Netflix shows. The mouse have a standard, right? So when you sign a contract, you go in, the mouse guidelines, right? So I honestly and truly don't know what they're gonna do with Deadpool.
All I can say is, I have no idea what they're doing with Deadpool. Like,
bro, I
don't know how you deal with that, bro.
Bro, what we saw in Multiverse of Madness was Marvel's first horror.
Yeah,
that was their first horror movie.
Too much, too fast. It was just too much, too fast.
It was it was a lot of information too quickly. This was why I had a problem with them not giving me 45 more minutes.
Yeah,
because it was a lot of content, bro. The movie starts with impact, boom, action.
Right. Which I had no problem with.
Action.
Yeah, I had no problem with that, but it's just too much, too fast.
It was a lot of story to tell.
Going back to Netflix, when I saw Jessica Jones for the first time, that was like some traumatic stuff that they put on the screen.
Yeah.
Like when they show the scene where he tells the kid to go into the bathroom, go into the closet and don't come out. And the kid like has to go to the bathroom and he just starts peeing on himself. And you see the urine coming from under the closet.
You're not gonna get that from Disney Plus. You're not.
No.
You're not. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I mean, it is what it is. I still love the fact that I am getting content. I'm getting characters that I've read when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Now I'm an adult and I'm finally getting stories and stuff about it. So
yeah,
I'm okay.
So I've been waiting to see good stuff since I was a kid. And like I remember when X-Men was announced that it was coming out, I was like, oh, this is gonna be the bomb. X-Men's gonna be tight. They had the technology now. It's gonna be great. And then I remember a coworker saying, how are you gonna feel if that movie's not any good? And I'm like, not possible. This movie's gonna be the bomb.
Yeah.
They laid an egg. They laid an egg, bro.
Before we get out of here, grade this movie.
C.
After seeing it a second time, C as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
again, I love the things we got, right? I love a lot of the stuff that we got in there. But the problems that I had with it was just, I can't look away from it.
I didn't get my expectation. My expectation was for it to be as phenomenal as the first Doctor Strange. Gotcha. At the end of the day, that's what I wanted. I'm like, you got Doctor Strange and you got the Scarlet Witch on the same screen. This movie has to be amazing.
And listen, all of my peers have called me about it and we've talked about it, and some of them share their feelings about it. And everybody feel your feelings. You love it, embrace it. You hate it, embrace it.
Yeah. I hate it. It's just, put it this way. When it comes out on Disney Plus, if I watch it again, it's solely to see like what I may have missed in the film.
I don't know if I'm gonna watch it again on Disney Plus.
But you've seen it twice already.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't know if I'll watch it again.
Yeah.
Because I think the second time I was a lot more perturbed. And I was like, okay, I think this is it. And again, I went through it with a fine comb. So visually, though, it was stunning.
Before we go, I think the next upcoming movie is Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yes.
You were not happy with Ragnarok.
No.
I would like to hear, before we go, what are your thoughts going into Love and Thunder?
I'm not happy about it.
You're already not happy about it. You're already not happy about it.
Okay, but real quick, before we get out of here, can I grind my gears for like 2 minutes? Start the timer now.
Hey,
you bringing in Gore the God Butcher, and you have him look like this guy who's drenched in like a milky skin with some, I don't know. Gore looks horrible. The Thor: Love and Thunder trailer, it looks horrible. Everything about it looks horrible. I'm not impressed. The Mighty Thor, like the
idea of them bringing Jane,
right? The Mighty Thor, Jane, her comic run was not even that amazing.
Oh, really?
Right? If you was gonna give me a Thor movie, why you didn't give me Fear itself? That was a better story than this. You could have bring in Benjamin Grimm and give me all that when the hammers fell and all of the individuals went to pick up the hammer.
Is Jane gonna have cancer?
Yes, I believe she is. Because they are going based on the story arc. I don't know how much of it they're gonna stray from, but apparently they're gonna make it seem like the ether gave her power. I mean, gave her cancer, right? Because the Infinity Stones, they emit some kind of radiation. So to make it seem like she got cancer from that. Okay.
Okay. And then, which is fine. That's fine.
Yeah, it works. I thought that was where they were going to go with it, and that's where they're going with it, and I'm okay with that. I even think that she looks amazing in her Mighty Thor Jane costume, right?
What about
however
broken up?
However, the story was a weak story in the comics, and I don't know if, again, I wasn't too impressed with Taika Waititi the first time that he did Ragnarok, and I don't think I'm going to be impressed with him again this time around. I just don't like.
I didn't realize it was the same director. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
So, I didn't know he did Ragnarok. I knew he was doing this one.
So going in, I have no high hopes. I know I'm going to see the Panther Goddess Bass. Bass, we love you. But I'm not too impressed about the movie.
All right.
That's my
Heard it here first.
And as it goes on, you know, when it comes out, we break it down, and I'll tell you things I like and things I didn't like. But you heard it here. Yeah, you got anything before we get out of here, man?
Are we going to do a cast for Ragnarok? Are we going to do a cast for Thor: Love and Thunder?
Yes, we have.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I just want to make sure, because I know that this is not, Thor has not been on your high list for a minute.
It has not. Has not.
So
Ragnarok is one of my 5 worst.
If we had skipped Thor, I wouldn't have been surprised, because I know how you feel about Thor.
Hey, man.
So
just because of the fandom, I'm gonna go watch it, so that when I speak about it, I know what I'm. When I speak about it,
you'll see it.
Yeah. All right, man. You got anything before we get out of here?
I'm good to go, bro. Good to go.
All right, man. I had a blast. Thank you for eating crow, by the way, when we got started. I really appreciate that. Really appreciate that. And when it's my turn to eat crow, I will eat some crow.
You'll eat some.
I'll eat some. Man, it was a pleasure having you on here tonight, man.
It was awesome being here. So I hate that it took so long to get it done, but we're here. And we got it done. Yeah. So.
All right, man. But anyway, bro, you be good. By the way, guys.
You too, sir.
Shoot us an email if you want to talk to us about anything at APodcastAboutComics@gmail.com. For now, this is your boy, T'Challa BP74, and my man,
Kei'Tano.
We out. Bye-bye.
Peace.
A.P.A.C.